Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. This is Garlic Banana and today we're playing Geoguessr. We've got another daily challenge for you and this is episode number 2. We did incredibly well yesterday. We got a score of 24,149, which is incredible for the first go. Hopefully we can eclipse that today. It's going to be very difficult but not impossible. Let's see how we go. First of all, just wanted to say thank you very much to everyone that watched the video yesterday and gave it a like and also subscribed. If you like today's episode, I really hope you consider also subscribing if you haven't already. I'm narrating over the top of the video now because when I exported the video from OBS Studios, there seemed to be some corruption and the audio glitched. So I hope you don't mind me narrating. What I'm speaking about here originally was that I took a few lessons away from the video yesterday and I tried to learn from them. One thing I found was there were many similarities between the orthography of the Thai language and the Khmer language. However, I noticed there were a few distinguishing features such as the loops in the Thai language, and the Khmer language had a few squiggly lines at the top, so that's what I'll be using to distinguish those in the future. Also noticed that the houses in Cambodia are built on stilts, presumably to avoid flooding. Another thing that I picked up in the Kenya round was the fact that the Google vehicle is a four-wheel drive and has some roof racks and a black snorkel on the left-hand side. I also noticed that the number plates were yellow. I'm not sure if that's just for Kenya or for the rest of the African nations, but that might help us distinguish that country from the rest next time. I also found that I rushed into a lot of rounds and put the pin down without fully gathering enough information. So that's something that I'll be focusing on for this game. So here we go. We are about to start the daily challenge for episode 2. 1, 2, 3, and we are off. So what I was thinking here was that we are in some sort of northern European area. We've got a lot of trees. I had a really quick look at the right side there and I couldn't see anything on that sign that I was looking at. So I've decided to scoot my way up the road. I noticed the bollards on the side of the road were recognizable, but I sort of skipped past them and kept going in the hope that perhaps I could find some sort of street sign. I was also looking at the license plates for these cars, but I didn't recognize what they were. They were pretty standard European ones with the blue down the side. I spotted a sign, so I went back to see if I could see what the language was. There it is there. It was very blurry, so I gave up and continued on down the road. I was getting a little bit annoyed that I couldn't actually jump very far. It was only taking me about 10 meters at a time. Found this sign here. And again, very blurry. Didn't give me a lot of information. I was leaning in there to see if I could discern anything on that sign. I saw this one and I started to think maybe we're in Poland. There was a few Z's on that sign. The Polish are notorious for using a lot of Z's. At some point here I gave up and realized we weren't going to have any luck there, and just my luck, if I turned a little bit further around to the right, I would have seen the myriad of signs right next to me. I realized it was Poland. I started looking at the map and tried to look for areas that had a lot of woodland. I thought it would have been somewhere in the south because it sort of had that sort of mountain vibe to it. I saw this sign here. I think it was pronounced Volin. I look at the map. Nothing really stands out to me here. But I take a futile look anyway. Pretty much the same stuff on the other side. I continue looking. Here we go. The clock counts down 1 second, and we were right at the top end of Poland on the Baltic Sea. Looks like a very beautiful camp area up there. I haven't traveled to that end of Poland, but it looks very beautiful. I was saying here as well that I was glad that we were on the west side rather than somewhere around the middle, because we would have lost quite a few points if we did that. But not a bad score for round one, 3,966. We were still in the game. But for how long? And here we move on to round two. Wasn't very happy with this one. Very barren landscape. Not a lot of clues around. I head in the southward direction. Notice on the side of the road there's some really weird flags and some sort of shrine, I'm guessing. I noticed here we have a black or grey back of the sign, which sometimes you see in Brazil. However, this is not a Brazilian landscape. It's too flat, it's too dry. I was starting to think around Argentina at this time, throwing out other possibilities such as Bolivia. Bolivia is very high up in terms of the height above sea level. So I was thinking maybe it was possibly down in the south of Peru. I know they have a little bit of flatland there. I look at this truck to my right and I try to search that for clues. This would come back to haunt me. Zapala. Keep that in mind because it will be very important a little bit later on. I also find that I could not go any further down that road, which was very unfortunate. So I decided to head back north and see what I could find, hoping for dear life that there might be some sort of sign on the side of the road with a town name. You know, a town is only 50 kilometers away, and I might be able to find it on the map somewhere in South America. But alas, there was no guardian angel, nothing there that really could have provided an indication of where we were, except the landscape around us. Extremely flat. We have some mountains to our west, as you can see there on the left side of the screen. We have a yellow single line down the middle of the road, and now it turns into a double yellow. I try to discern the license plate color and shape, but it's very blurry and doesn't give us a lot of information here, so I continue on. And after a while I realize it's futile. I go with Peru here, which was a very costly mistake, because as you can see, we are down about the middle of Argentina, looking out towards Chile to our west, and I'm a little bit embarrassed about that one, to tell you the truth. But that's something that we will put in the memory bank. I'll remember that landscape, and next time we get something similar to that, I'll think Argentina straight off the bat. Only 1,000 points for that one. Basically stuffs up the whole game for us. But as you can see a little bit later, we will claw back a few points. Moving on to round number 3. I'm sure I said some incredibly insightful things on camera that are forever lost into the void. A little bit like that Tenacious D song tribute. And we are dropped into a lovely farming landscape. Straight away we know this is Poland. We've got the same bollards on the side of the road. They've got a slanted top and a red stripe all the way across. So I'm saying I think we're around here somewhere on the east side. I go to have a bit of a look around, back to that town name to see if I can see it pop out at us on the map. And really it is like finding a needle in a haystack. Virtually impossible to do it this way. So what I start thinking is that perhaps I can go into the town and find ourselves some sort of national highway sign where it can give us directions to one of the major cities, and we can use that as a reference point to find out where we are in the world. I see this Novi Lubusz. I don't know how to say that in Polish. I realize that's probably just a small town again, similar to the one that we found before. Now this was very unfortunate. I wanted to keep heading up the road, but it actually hooked to the left. I try again, and I realized that was actually the end of the road as far as Google Maps goes. So I try to have a look on these signs and see if I can find anything that will give us a clue. Just notice that Slubic name at the top there. That was our biggest clue, actually. I was trying to find something on the map that said that. And looking back at this retrospectively, I don't blame myself for not finding it. It's not something that is actually standing out right now, but at the end of the day, I now know where that town is. So if we do get another guess or another map similar to this, I will know where it is. So really here I'm just fumbling. I'm trying to see anything that jumps out at me. And coming up trumps. There you go. We were on the western side of Poland, right on the German border, near a town called Frankfurt on der Oder. An der Oder, my mistake. The real Frankfurt is actually down there to the southwest. And not a bad guess overall, 4,314 points. That is something to be proud of there. Now this was a very confusing map. So round 4, I get dropped into a almost South American looking landscape. I look at this sign and I figure these are usually full of information about the area, the region. Some troublemakers have spray painted all the way over it, so I couldn't use that to my advantage. I see that we have some Spanish. A little bit more Spanish. I start thinking Mexico. We've got some pylons. I notice there's a small wall to our left and a aqueduct. At this stage, I'm still thinking Mexico. And what I'm trying to do here is move up the road. I've seen fences like that in Mexico and even Brazil. But I know that it is not Brazil because that was Spanish back on the sign there. We've got some palm trees. And I'm thinking we've got a landscape that's very similar to Southern California. Colorful building as well, which you do see a lot of the time in Mexico. And to my credit here, I head right up the road and we are rewarded with a highway. So I start getting a little bit excited here. And I see up there that there is a sign that we can use. So I head over this way to see if we can get up there. I can't just click up onto the highway. We have to go around on the road. So I head back this way. Is there anything we can use here? A little bit more Spanish, but it doesn't really give us much. Although I see that the word Valencia is on that sign. And I put that in my mind. Nothing triggers here for me until I see this. And I realize this is a European road sign. And Valencia clicks finally. I realize that is one of the major cities in Spain. And I jump all the way over there with 25 seconds remaining. And I put my pinpoint down because I noticed the highway is, I think it was A38, if I recall correctly. And now all I'm trying to do is to figure out where we are in relation to Valencia. I see a few town names here. Sueca is one of them. And I see that is close by, but time ran out. We were actually only 3.1 kilometers away from our target. And amazing guess. We nearly exhausted the time on the clock, but we got there in the end. Only 1.1 kilometers away. 3.1 kilometers away, in fact. Absolutely incredible. I was nearly about to go to Mexico there, but right at the last minute, Valencia was our savior. And here I'm just in disbelief. I totally thought this was Mexico. You can see why I got confused there. But as we know, Spain is a very old country with a long history, and there we have it. 4,989 points. Moving on to the final round. And huge relief here. We've got the Burj Khalifa. We know this is Dubai. And right now I'm thinking, can we get a perfect score for the first time in this series? A full 5,000 points. I zoom in. And I want to be extra careful here because I don't want to get 4,999. That would just not be acceptable. So have a look around. I'm using the water as a reference point. We've got two bridges up here, but when I have a look at the map, it doesn't quite line up, does it? Because there should be two bridges over water. So I'm a little bit confused, but I know that we are southwest of the tower, judging by the compass. So I've still got 2 minutes on the clock here. I take my time. Have a look around. I see that it sort of loops around to the left here, and I try to look at the water again. I'm just confirming here that this is indeed the island that the Burj Khalifa is on, and it is. So we jump back to the original point. I realize that bridge that is heading east with a slight slant is that orange one right there. And we've got the office over there that we can see on the map. And we are surrounded by water on the eastern side. And I realize that that is down there to the right. We take the guess. And it is a perfect score. Look at that. 15 meters away from our target. Very happy with that result. And looking back, 19,273 points. Not too bad. I think if we got a little bit closer there on that Argentinian guess, we might have been in the... Oh, we definitely would have been above 20,000, which I would consider a good score. Going back, we're looking at this campsite in the north of Poland. Put that down on the holiday bucket list. Just have to wait until we can leave the country and cross borders again. Although I think for our European counterparts, that's already happened. Australia is a big island and we have strict border controls. So here I am tearfully reviewing my number 2 round guess where I stupidly went for Peru. Should have been Argentina. That's all right. We can do better next time. Moving on to number 3, we had that guess in Poland for the town on the western side, close to Germany. And just remembering here that I did see that town name on the sign, but it didn't register. And I shall remember it for next time. And we move on to round 4. We had this incredible guess. I'm probably the most proud of this one on this round, on this game, I should say. We got the perfect score on the Burj Khalifa, our first perfect, but this one I had to use a little bit of detective work to narrow this down. You know, I saw Valencia, Sueca, Sueco or Sueca, I can't recall. And we were able to narrow that down very nicely. And of course we had the last Dubai guess. That was in the bag right from the start. Never in doubt. We took our time with that one and pinpointed the exact location within 15 meters. So very happy with that one. That's all the time we have today. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Take care, and we'll see you next time.